Today, we got a game against Rayquaza Eelektrik, which is one of the decks that gives this deck a pretty hard time. You know, decks that run high counts of switch, as Rayquaza often does, tend to be a very big obstacle for any Articuno deck. But you know, there's some variety. Sometimes they focus more on Keldeo and rush in. So if that's the case, then maybe we can get that Keldeo stuck active. You know, who knows? But anyway, so we start out with Ditto. So Ditto's doing his job. That's why he's here, so that he can be a variable starter and make me not have to start with Duskull. And we see a Bouffalant and a 30 HP Dynamo from my opponent going first. And this hand is, well, at least it's got a supporter, so I guess it's not all bad. Double Colorless Machine would be nice if we had Articuno, but we don't right now, so it's gonna put an Eevee on Bouffalant, and that is one of the most sickening things that this deck can see. Having the damage output from 80 down to 40 with Frost Prison. Yuck. We see a fire put on there, so that confirms that it is indeed a Rayquaza variant. And we got a water and some colorless machines, so we could, I guess, suppose Skyla for a Ultra Ball and get out at least being able to do Blizzard next turn. And we also have the full complement of the Dusknoir line in hand, but it doesn't matter because it gets end away. However, we did get a water energy down, and a water energy on at least something that can become an Articuno is always a good start for this deck. As well, we have an Articuno in hand we can transform into, and looks like we could also, with that Skyla, we're going to transform. Make sure we click that. Sometimes I try to click the Pokemon in the hand, but that just puts it on the bench. Definitely attach a water, and I'm probably going to Skyla here, and I can either get out a... I don't think I do run Heavy Ball. I think I just run a Level Ball for Skull or Clops. But I can either get out a Noir with Ultra Ball, or I could get a Colorless Machine, or it looks like I might just end, because I would really like to have both. But I'm going to go ahead and put down another Duskull, and hey, what do you know, sometimes you end and it pays off. We get Rare Candy, Dusknoir, and Colorless Machine, and Hypnotoxic Laser. So sometimes stuff just works, you know, it's beautiful when it does. So it looks like we are going to do this laser as well. If he wants to retreat, he put an Eevee light on there, not a float stone, so he might have to discard those 2 energy if he doesn't get down a Keldeo. And one of those energies is a fire as well, so we might be taking a Gold Breaker here, but next turn we will be able to follow up with a Frost Prison, and maybe we can start making stuff happen. Dusknoir is on board, so our setup is not totally too bad right now. And it looks like my energy is kind of glitched there. The third energy appears to be on top of everything else, which is kind of weird. That seems to happen a lot, especially with Colorless Machine. But anyway, he's going to catch up Noir, and I don't have a Float Stone on it right now, so that's kind of painful. And Gold Breaker is going to be a 3-hit KO, so we'll have a couple of turns to draw into a switch. And there's a plus power, so it might be a 2-hit KO. Actually, I believe Noir has 130, so yes, that would be a 2-hit KO now. But what do you know, we top deck a Skyla. Now, if he had not played that plus power, which is an uncommon card to see anyway, I probably would have Skylaed for a supporter and just gone for that. But instead, I'm just going to go ahead and get the Float Stone, get Noir back, and let's just start the Frost Prison train rolling. He is still poisoned, so he didn't clear that, so that's going to be something for me to do. I could go ahead and take the knockout on this Dynamo, but just to prevent another Eelektrik from coming down. But you know, the game's going to be going on long enough that there's not really much of a point of doing that. Eventually, Rayquaza is going to get built up. I think in this case, I might actually prefer knocking out the Rayquazas over knocking out the Eelektriks, because pretty much any other attacker besides Rayquaza I don't care too much about. So whereas the game's going to be going on long enough that he can manually power up a Rayquaza and burst me into oblivion if need be. So see what he can do in response. Of course, Keldeo switch going to be things that he might want to do. Throws down a manual Lightning and Junipers. And since he put the Lightning on there manually, there won't be a Dragon Burst this turn. At best, with Free Retreat Dynamo, go figure, might be coming in handy here. essentially acting as a, allowing Switch to act as a full heal. This is also the first game we have here with freeze cards, which is why you saw Floatstone there. But yeah, when you get a free retreater and Switch, it's pretty much as good as full heal. So we're gonna see some Dynamotors on there, but no fire this turn. So there's a laser. He's still poisoned, so there's not any point of that. We're gonna move some stuff off of the war, I'm sure. Unfortunately, we're only dealing 40 damage around. And when you're only dealing 40 damage around, the big problem there is, well, you're only dealing 40 damage around. So I decided to go ahead and knock out the eelektrik anyway. I guess maybe at some point we do want to knock out that Rayquaza, and if eelektriks aren't on board, then I don't know. What I'd like to get right now is a catcher so I can deal more than 40 damage around, but I don't know. Looks like we might be trying to knock out this Dynamo. Yep, we're trying to take prizes, is what we're trying to do here. And we get an Ultra Ball. We could Ultra Ball out to another Articuno and Colorless Machine, but this is one case where I think maybe we might want to add Town Map and see if we can get some good things out of the prizes, but I'll have to see if I can fit that in. It's not in any of the videos in this series, but maybe in the future. So we just keep Frost Prisoning, and at this point he can now throw down the fire. And I left that one Dynamo alive, and go figure, there's an eelektrik. I believe he had 2 lightning on that Rayquaza, so the reason I wanted to try to get rid of the eels there is to prevent a potential Dragon Burst next turn with a Dynamotor and a manual fire. But now he can Dynamotor and manual fire, and yeah. So there's the manual fire. At least I'm assuming there's lightning in his discard pile. I haven't actually been keeping check, but it looks like it. Oh, there we go. Actually, there is not. So there we go. There's an Ultra Ball, and I didn't see any lightning go in there. TCGO is not exactly the best thing at making it clear what your opponent discarded with Ultra Ball, which even though you can see the resultant cards in the discard pile, it's sometimes kind of nice to know exactly what they decided to get rid of. It can kind of tell you maybe what else is in their hand, but oh well. But he Junipers, and maybe he still doesn't have lightning. Certainly a lightning energy in the discard pile and a switch will be the death of Articuno here. And you can see I'm already hovering over Duskull in an attempt to, or Dusknoir in an attempt to go ahead and click him active. And what do you know? I top deck energy after my Duskull gets captured. So we are going to be able to attach and retreat. Obviously that was a catcher trying to be used defensively to break the chain of Frost Prisons, and this is why sometimes I don't like to bench multiple Duskulls, but early going, it's worth it to get out the Noir with higher confidence instead of Duskull just keeps getting catcher KO'd. But unfortunately, Duskull does not have a free retreat. And go figure, he's a little levitating ghost. Nope, free retreat? Nope, can't have that. So he is going to unfortunately be a catcher target, and this is why sometimes with this deck I do like to keep my bench down to just maybe a Noir with Floatstone and an Articuno, maybe another Articuno that's getting powered up. So right now I figure one thing I might be able to do is just run him out of fire energies. He probably plays Super Rod, but just getting some Rayquazas knocked out will also be beneficial for taking 4 prizes, 2 prizes at a time. Typically a little bit more effective than taking non-EX knockouts with your damage. But there goes another fire from the hand and another lightning. So yeah, this is pretty precarious. So let's see what we got here. And now I have an Ultra Ball. I might want to start getting another Articuno out. He does have to take 6 prizes, so maybe I should use this Ultra Ball to get out an Articuno. And let's see, I only have 1 Plasma Energy on there, so hopefully I've got at least one more left in the deck. So we're going to Sinister Hand. Looks like I'm moving damage over to Eelektrik. Maybe trying to fish out another card from the prizes just for Ultra Ball discard. That might be what I'm trying to do. It looks like we are definitely intending to knock out the eel. So we'll just take that, and okay, well there's a Plasma Energy out of the prizes. So seems like Plasma Energy is the most common thing that gets prized in this deck. So we are in an Ultra Ball, and unfortunately that's not really a card I wanted to have. would have rather that had been a water, but in my disappointment, I decided to not Ultra Ball at all, and instead we're just gonna keep using Frost Prism. So, you know, if Frost Prism was 1 water and 3 colorless, then, you know, like, it would be perfectly fine to throw down Plasma Energy, Colorless Machine, and then just need the 1 water. But it is not, so the restrictions of it. But anyway, he still has he still has no switch, so and I still have no catcher. I would desperately love to get a catcher so I could be doubling my damage output, you know. But we're gonna Ultra Ball, and I guess at some point I figured that I didn't have any Plasma Energy left in the deck. Maybe. I guess I noticed that earlier and didn't notice it right now. But anyway, otherwise, well. I guess by not discarding the physical Plasma Energy and instead the thing to get it out, I'll have more available later. Anyway, as it is, I only have 1 energy on this Articuno, and still in a bit of a supporter drought here. You know, I've been trying to get cards out of the prizes, trying to get a supporter. Again, town map would be nice, but so far we have not had such stuff, and of course at this point in is now pretty much useless as well. So still waiting to see if he's gonna have switch, and it looks like at this point I've actually set it up to for Bouffalant to die, and the reason I decided to do that was, you know, if I can't get catcher, I can at least get this Bouffalant dead, and then he'll have to promote a Rayquaza coming into my turn, and then I can actually start dealing, you know, the 80 damage. I probably should have done that, you know, several turns ago, but sadly did not. So I'm down to 2 prizes. I'm gonna try add back a laser. I don't really know why. I guess I was just exuberant to have a supporter and wanted to use it. But get down a Plasma Energy on the benched Articuno and Frost Prism, and he's actually only got 30 HP left, and I've only got 2 prizes left. So you know, if we can get if Noir can survive and maybe we can top deck a water, we might be able to win this just with that. But super retrievals, I don't know why in the world you play superior energy retrieval with with eelektrik, but it's not even that good for a discard card. Ooh, there's a plus power and a potion. You don't see that every day. I don't think that'll matter too awfully much. I'm not sure exactly how much HP that thing's got left. But I think it had 30, so it should still have 60, right? It's got 60 HP. Oh, but there's finally a switch. And, alright, we're going to push up Noir because he's got the free retreat. And where do we go from here? Got a switch. Need that water energy. I need that water energy. I don't know why I don't play more. I play like, what, like 10? But yeah, I seem to inevitably draw more Plasma Energies into my hand than I do water energies. But that seems to be how it goes. So at this point, you know, I kind of need a water energy and I win. We've got a Ditto in the hand, so at this point I can just keep sacrificing things. Yeah, we're kind of on sacrifice mode. He doesn't have any electrics online, so, but he actually does have 2 fire on that Rayquaza, so that's going to be good for a 120, almost as a desperation Dragon Burst later, with lightning attachment and actually discarding the 2 fires, which you rarely see outside of the Quadza deck, I suppose. But there's another potion, and that's actually huge, because now now I'm going to need laser and either Verbank or laser and the capacity to do Frost Prism. So that potion, the first potion didn't matter too much, but that potion was huge. We're continuing to whiff anything to get a water energy, and looks like we do have a Ditto, so we can put that down and sacrifice that. And that's probably what we're gonna have to do. I certainly want to keep Noir, so we're gonna retreat. He will be able to knock me out with a simple lightning attachment, and then he's got a fully loaded Rayquaza ready to go that can possibly catcher and KO Articuno. So I might have one more turn to draw water energy, and that's really all I need is a water energy, or a thing to get water energy, which would be most any supporter in the deck, I guess. colors wouldn't be that hot right now. It's gonna net me 2 cards after Ditto gets knocked out. Can I please have a water energy? Nope, but you could have another Pokemon to try to stall with. So we'll throw that down and rinse and repeat. Just waiting for a water. Waiting for a water. Ending turn. He's gonna have to retreat here, I guess. To well, actually no. Duskull only has 50 HP, so he could just attach a fire. And there you go. He's actually got like 5, maybe even 6 fire energies in his deck. And what do we have for the last card? Not a water, ladies and gentlemen. Not a thing to get a water. Oh well. Water energy whiffing is a recurrent theme for this deck, I'm afraid. Look over my options. Looks like maybe the only thing that can save us is if he stays asleep on Hypnotoxic Laser, and then can't retreat. So I just switch into Articuno. I don't know, but he wakes up, and that's gonna mean a retreat and a Dragon Burst for 180. So, alas, if I could have drawn a water energy, and humble little water energy, we could have had it. But oh well. You know, he didn't actually have that many switches out. We didn't see any Keldeos or not even any Floatstones either. So, but due to lacking the water energy for that final knockout with just you know, a nice little blizzard would have sufficed. But actually, there's a Floatstone right there, so unnecessary. But he does indeed have it with Dragon Burst for 180. So really not the typical way that Rayquaza Electric beats this deck, which is smashing the Articuno, you know, kind of, and robbing your whole game plan. But we get down to 2 prizes, but none of them were what we needed to win. So, oh well, we're going to move on to the next one. Thanks for watching. Later days.